Hello, and welcome to this week's EastEnders Spoilers. Week commencing the 11th of September 2023. With her dad having failed to show up, Stu suggests Eliza get in the car so they can visit her mum. With Eliza uninterested, Stu loses his temper and points out that if her dad cared about her at all, he wouldn't continually let her down. Upset, Eliza dashes across the road, where she's knocked down by a car. As the driver speeds away, Stu rushes to Eliza, who clutches her arm. In the hospital, Stu is forced to call Dom, who arrives with a huge teddy. As Stu and Dom trade insults, Stu is cut to the quick when Eliza asks him to leave. Alia assures Stu that Eliza will eventually see her dad for who he is, and when that happens, he'll be there to pick up the pieces. But when Eliza announces that she wants to go and live with her dad, Stu's gutted whilst Dom does his best to cover his shock. Meanwhile, Evelyn tells Tyrone that he needs to call Fizz, tell her about Cassie's relapse and how Hope found her, because if he doesn't she will. Elsewhere, Max starts work in the salon, as David advises him to steer well clear of Lauren. Roy wants to contact social services to find accommodation for Lauren, but she insists she'll sort herself out. Also today, having secured the Freshco deal, Darren books a meal to celebrate, suggesting Amy partners Ardy. Amy and Ardy try to make excuses, leaving Darren and Dev bemused. Finally, Joel invites Dee Dee out for a drink, explaining that he needs to pick her brain about US law. Dee Dee's chuffed as she gets her books out, however Joel is disappointed as he realizes Dee Dee doesn't see it as a date. When Stu receives a call from the school telling him Eliza failed to turn up this morning, he's deeply concerned, believing she'd gone in early. Stu arrives at Dom's house and accuses him of kidnapping Eliza during the night. Eliza explains that she ran away by herself and this is now her home. Having been summoned by Stu, a social worker arrives with a police officer in tow, intent on talking to Eliza. Felicity tells Stu that it's best Eliza stays at Dom's house for now. Stu's incensed, and as the officer attempts to usher him away, Stu accidentally smacks him in the face. Dom watches with satisfaction as Stu is arrested for assault. Meanwhile, when Dev refers to Ardy and Amy as a couple, Ardy is quick to correct him and makes out he's already seeing someone called Monica. Darren confides in Dev that he and Courtney are having marriage problems and he suspects she's having an affair. Amy listens in. With the celebratory lunch underway, Amy warns Ardy that Darren knows Courtney is playing away. When Dev reveals that Ardy has got a new girlfriend, Darren, Courtney and Amy are all ears as he describes her as beautiful, funny and intelligent. With Dev and Darren distracted, Ardy follows Courtney out, where they share a kiss. Dev is gobsmacked to find his son in a passionate clinch with the boss wife. Elsewhere, as Evelyn settles into the cafe flat, Roy realizes that she's not the easiest of guests. Also today, Paul receives a letter offering an appointment with the palliative nurse. Paul tries to make light of it, but Billy worries that he's bottling up his feelings. Discussing it with Shelley, Paul realizes just how ill she's become. Finally, when Joel admits US law was just an excuse to ask her out and suggests they have dinner, Dee Dee's chuffed, but reveals she's busy for the next few nights. A disappointed Joel hurries out and Dee Dee kicks herself. Paul struggles to walk, but when Billy suggests he tries the wheelchair, Paul refuses. When Paul clocks Bertie's new tablet, he's suspicious and catches Bernie red-handed, sorting a load of electronic goods, addressed to Shelley. Bernie explains she's simply trying to make some money to buy all the kit that he's going to need. Paul tells Billy about Bernie's scam and how although she means well, he's going to speak to Shelley and put a stop to it. As Paul heads for Shelley's flat, he trips and falls. He cries out for help, only to realize there's no one around. Meanwhile, over breakfast, Dev and Asher wonder how long Courtney intends to stay. However, Ardy is clearly smitten when Courtney declares that she's well rid of Darren and this is a chance for them to make a go of it. In a bid to salvage the Freshco deal, Dev promises Darren he'll have a word with Ardy and make him see sense. But will Ardy be prepared to listen? Elsewhere, the social worker calls at number 6 and tells Stu that Eliza wants to remain at her dad's. Stu's gutted. Also today, when Ed is late for a celebratory meal at Speed Dial with Ronnie and Debbie, have his gambling demons got the better of him. Finally, When Adam finds out that Dee Dee turned down a date with Joel in order to spend the evening with him, he engineers a plan to get them together. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss next week's Coronation Street spoilers.